We will reconvene and hold the third panel of experts with a generic topic, which is integration on water information. Yesterday we had with statistics, we talked to statistics and then the use of information on water. Now we are in the topic of the integration of information on water, and we have a diverse group of experts that will be referring to this topic. The first panelist is geographer Carlos Guerrero. He is a geographer from the Autonomous Mexican University with a master's in geography with a specialty of regional planning. He's had 29 years of experience along these lines. Right now he performs as Director General of Geography and Environment within the INEGI, and the topic of his presentation is information, statistics, geographic and statistical information on water. Thank you very much. Good morning. And especially I want to recognize and thank the authorities of the UAM and the INEGI for this invitation extended to me. And we will now go into a presentation where we will be supported by Fabian Garcia. Now, the idea is to talk to you during less than 20 minutes, I hope, on a topic that has to do with integration of information on water, of course. And we have produced this at the Institute. I will only refer to some topics which we believe might be of interest to all of you. Of course, I'm not taking into account all the scope of products and services we produce at the Institute. We only chose a few. So I will be talking about statistics related to this topic, how we have changed the conceptual model with which we worked before and went into one that we thought was more advanced. Then I will be referring to some results that we have reached. The topic on how we show the information in terms of its chart or spatial expression will also be mentioned, and I will also refer to the visualization matter, which since yesterday I understand we had a module outside this hall where some of you probably already saw some of the applications we have developed on this topic. And on the hydrological information having to do with this resource, which is both superficial and underground, and its inventory, something you have probably been able to consult. And well, I will only refer to a few examples. Of course, we have the production of hydrological information of underground water. This is an example that has to do with our Series 2 scale 1 to 250,000. We have national coverage, and it identifies a series of hydrogeological centers, and due to the size of our country, these were developed from 96 to 2008, and this is in digital form and in paper. We have made progress along new topics, and will probably, with some of you, have analyzed them at some point and have to do with runoffs, coefficient, and at the step on Series 2 that is in the scale of 1 to 250,000, and which also a recent production for a national scope. Of course, we have been making progress in the way we have expressed our information, and presently we are working on a project to be able to represent our information using natural limits, that is to say, basins and aquifers. This is a prototype of this cartography, which we already started producing within INEGI. Of course, the delimitation and classification of the bodies of water is fundamental. This extraction is taken from the cartography of a 1 to 50,000 scale, and you can identify this in this slide. And as you see, we have quite a rich inventory, which is of importance. And aside from the classification we might adopt, this is a fundamental referral to understand the potential of this resource. On the hydrographic network, this is a fundamental work. We made the extraction of the cartography of 1 to 50,000 scale of the topographic chart, and we let this fall on an application developed at the Institute, which is the simulator of flows of water in hydrographic basins. I referred to this before, and you have probably seen the module outside the hall. And here, what you will be able to see in greater detail is the objective of this distribution. Well, be familiar with the distribution of the resource, and it has different possibilities for analysis. This application can be also found at the portal of the INEGI. The references, the link can also be obtained at this presentation that will be integrated in the memoirs of this event. The tools of visualization are standard. This iconography is universal, I believe. I will not stop at this, but I want to underline the main coverage of the system. And of course, it goes from the INIMA data to hydrometeorological stations. We have added the topic of drought at the end of the presentation. We will refer to this very briefly. And the hydrographic network, some aspects of the use of land or soil, transportation, the population census. This also enriches the material. I will go through the slides very quickly. And of course, you can carry out searches. We have carried out different exercises. We work on a permanent basis with CONAGUA on this topic, and they use this as a tool, an ancillary tool for their analysis. We can choose a basin specifically, and stemming from this choice, we can carry out different analysis with the tools we have. And we can even integrate information. For instance, if we wanted to incorporate some images of interest to us on the characteristics of a given basin, we can load the images and customize this presentation. And of course, the idea is that with this simulator, we can model and understand the behavior in a given profile of a segment of the basin and carry out estimates on the runoffs. Let us suppose that we want to analyze a spill on the course of a basin, and we might have an idea of how this spill will run. It might be highly contaminating, and we can analyze a population that can have an impact. This is an exercise that can be carried out with a simulator. We can identify areas of influence, and these areas of influence can help us identify localities, characteristics of the population, and the housing characteristics. I said that we have made progress in statistics on the environment and environmental situation. And one is sanitation and water, that was part of the census of the municipal government and the survey, which was called the expenditure. The scheme we had previously was quite dispersed. The information was in different registries. We can call them survey, census, and others of an administrative nature, but these never crossed their paths. And in some way, partially, we had intersections or interaction with environmental pollution and other types of information, reports or statistics. What we are looking for in the new model is to integrate this primary information in our systems in order to look for a series of indicators that will serve for different purposes, from the general aspect to the specific aspect. We want to align everything that was dispersed, and we are looking for intersections within a new model that is more efficient in terms of the production of statistical information. And as to this module, I could tell you what is it we will have for you by next month, and it will be detailed by municipality. And this is extraordinary because we did not have an inventory of this nature for the country as a whole. The queries we raised had an enormous acceptance. We have information from all of the municipalities, 2,493. Only in 3 we had a negative reaction, the ones you already identified. It is understandable because there is physiographic complexities and security problems. But that's the way things were. And what did we ask? We put together a battery of 42 questions organized under 9 sections, and by the next month we will have the information on the catch, potabilization, distribution, and drainage and sewage systems, and the treatment of residual waters or wastewaters, municipal management of the service of water, local programs oriented to the sustainable management of the resource, and citizens' participation. The national service of the expenditure of homes in 2011, we included an environmental module. This will allow us to understand what goes on inside the homes and the households, and what this information will give us is characteristics on habits, practices, attitudes, concerns, and actions of households related to different aspects that have to do with the environment and, of course, on water. Here, what we put together was a package with 25 questions. These were raised last year, and it was 23 questions organized under 5 sectors, that have to do with the saving of electric energy, management of garbage, transport, mobility, and perception of the environment in taking care of the water. And this will be submitted with the results of the results of this survey by the second semester of this year. And I will now go on to a different section that has to do with the importance that this information we capture be localized. To us, it is clear that if a bit of information and data, a variable, an indicator, cannot be located spatially, it doesn't make sense. So, in this aspect, we have been advancing in the Institute in an important way in the last few years. And it is thus that in order to support the decision-making, we are looking for our information to always give an answer to this question. Where does this happen? where is this going on? And in this way, we have been able to work in the integration in a series of coverages of information on a visualizer that is like a universal container of all the information we produce. This might seem trivial, but it isn't. If you who are familiar with the resource and are specialists in different aspects, when you research and you find that the information can be geo-referenced, when you try to integrate it, you are in deep problem because a geographic point can receive several names. But here we have different applications. I invite you to visit them at the INEGI portal. One of them is the Sense Web. Here we have information on the population census, 274 variables and indicators. This section are examples on topic cartography or theme cartography, other information that can be of importance to you all, which it refers to economic units, is in this application called the NUE. You can visit it at the portal. Here we have approximately 4.3 economic units, and you can find the ones that are related to the topic of this event. And here you can produce different statistics, different analyses. We will go over these. These are examples that we will cover very quickly. And here I stop for a while. There is something outside the whole. When we combine the information with a topic of interest, such as drought, and we put together the information in terms of satellite images, applications in informatics, statistics, informatics and statistics on this phenomenon. This is what the Institute manages in terms of satellite images in the detail, high-resolution images, 50 centimeters. We have, for instance, a system that monitors drought in North America. If this coverage is taken, extracted, and taken to our applications developed at the INEGI, we can identify the areas that have been affected and the population. We were told at some meeting in Conagua and Sedesol, we know what population has been affected by by this phenomenon and the localities they are. Yes, we are going to superimpose the coverages and identify the affected areas. So basically with this, I hope I have given you a general overview of what we have at the INEGI, but we have to insist that it is important that you visit our portal and see what we have in the module outside the hall, and any additional information, ask for it and feel sure that you will get it.